Music is passion.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Wonder of Anime podcast. I'm your host, Lisa. I am a multimedia anime content creator, and my work spans across my blog, my YouTube channel, and of course this podcast. On this show, I interview your favorite anime content creators, voice actors, and other notable figures from the anime industry. Welcome back. I am so excited to be bringing you another episode from the vault this week. It is a hilarious, fun episode, and we'll get into that. But before we do, let's see, what have I been up to? In terms of content, if you follow me on my other social media, if you're not following me on my other social media, what the hell are you waiting for? But if you follow me, you'll know that I have returned to my YouTube channel. I love making YouTube videos so much. It's funny because I love podcasting and I just love them both equally. And I think it's the hands-on where I'm editing and, the planning and all that stuff. So I'm so excited to be back on my YouTube channel. I uploaded a video this past Saturday, which is just a quick, it's 20 minutes, a quick life update video, explaining my absence, which if you listen to the podcast, you already know, and a little manga haul. The manga haul is bare bones because I haven't been buying manga, which I explained that in the video. But anyways, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure that you go ahead over there and subscribe. You can find it under the Wonder of Anime or search Lisa de la Cruz. I will come up, probably a thumbnail of me crying in every video because that's what I do. Upcoming on my YouTube channel, I am finishing up my Clamp X series reread. The first 3 videos are completed, and then this is the last 3 videos of the series. And I'm excited because then I can jump into other Clamp works. These videos, I script my videos and get them all ready before I record. So they're basic. I just got to sit down and record them, and I'm not ready. I'm probably going to cry every video as per usual. On my blog, I have 2 reviews. I have the reviews for Fangs as well as for Hyperventilation. So if you're into boys love, definitely go ahead and check those out. They're a little spoilery, so I highly recommend them if you've already consumed those series, so then that way we can talk about it, or you can see my thoughts. What I've been watching, I've just been watching My Hero, which is so fucking good this season, Chainsaw Man, and I'm watching Do It Yourself. Do It Yourself is such a cute little slice of life, and I'm really liking it. It is just sunshine so far. I love random little cute animes like that, and it's just really good. If y'all are following me on Twitter, I was doing a Bleach watching for the first time because I've never seen Bleach, and I wanted to jump on the bandwagon because everything looks good as hell. And I made it to the 3rd season, but then Crunchyroll took Bleach off, and it's on Hulu now. And I pay for so many streaming services. I don't want to pay for another one. I have Hulu, the bare minimum bones subscription, because it comes with my phone plan, but that has ads, and I don't want ads. I get it, that's how these streaming services make money, but I don't want ads. So my Bleach watch right now is on hiatus. In terms of reading, I'm not reading anything that's coming out on a week to week or a chapter basis. Not right now, at least. Those are all the little updates that I have. And now on to this week's guest. I am so excited to be bringing you this conversation from January with Steve Embo from Inside of the Blerd Mind podcast. Also, I think they're a collective. They do more than just podcasting with YouTube videos and other forms of media as well, covering anime, manga, gaming, and a bunch of other nerdy stuff that I have zero idea about. But if you guys listen to their podcast, I was a guest on it with Erica from Sundari, I think in December, about our experience at Anime Frontier. And man, we had a time. It was hilarious. Steve and Bo are just so fun. And I'm so excited that they brought that same energy to my podcast. And we really had a good time diving into their origin story, talking about manga, anime, and just I think we laughed more in the podcast than ever before. But as with the interview with Rob, like I said, this is from January, so I did have to cut a bunch of stuff out, mostly towards the end where we covered like spring 2022 anime and some stuff that we were like looking forward to. There is a bit that I don't have a segue for, so I'm gonna edit myself in there just to transition the clip, but it was a really good part. We went into a tangent talking about like anime and manga, like manga adaptations into anime, and I was like, this is way too good to cut off, but it was part of a larger conversation about some 2022 anime thing. But we really had so much fun, and I'm so grateful for them coming on my show and just diving into their history. As always, I will include the links to anything that we talked about, as well as how you can find both of them individually and all the Inside of the Blerd Mind, also known as It Mob, all their stuff. All those links will be in the description of this episode. So be sure that you check that out. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. This may be the last throwback one that I have for now, because I have been booking new guests. And I'm so excited for you guys to see the new direction where this podcast is going. And we're going to have a lot of fun, but I'll get into that next episode. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoy it. Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, you had me and Erica on the podcast, and we were talking about Anime Frontier. That was a lot of fun. I have interacted with both of you guys on Twitter, I think for over a year now. Like, I feel like we always just interacting. I know, like, we've been in a couple of the same clubhouses before, so I feel like we just old friends. We missed each other by like a hair at Anime Frontier, but there's this year. So I always want to start off, if you guys can just introduce yourselves, the role that you have in your podcast, and just about yourself personally.
My name is Bo. Everyone knows me as Bo Dunded on Twitter. Usually I'm part of the It Mob crew, one of the founding members. Because usually it was me, Steve, and Cam who basically formed the whole like It Mob group, and then we started getting like new members. But anyway, my job in the It Mob is basically I talk about gaming. So you'll basically anything that could do with like shit. We talk about board games to video games to anything like mobile game. We just talk about gaming in general, and then we just like. Sometimes we talk about it like to review it or just to see how what everyone's playing. So, we just talk gaming. That's basically what I do. But sometimes we just throw like a bunch of shit in there. So, we just be talking about gaming and sometimes anime. So, like I said, we just talk on that shit. So.
Yeah. I'm Scuba Steve on Twitter and everything like that. If you've seen me, I pretty much we came up with the idea to make It Mob, and it just took off. Like, we just wanted to have something where at first we were like, we wanted to do an anime podcast, but then Cam was all like, let's just do like a everything nerdy podcast. That way we don't have to just only talk about anime and stuff like that. And then she was like, because she doesn't necessarily watch, she takes breaks from anime sometimes, and she does movie content, things like that. So I was like, all right, cool, we'll just talk about everything nerdy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we ended up going with. And it ended up working out. I think it works out a lot better. We do have like, you know what I'm saying, some anime content and stuff like that. But like some seasonal anime, sometimes you can't find as much stuff that you would love. But then turn around and Young Justice or something was out. So we could talk about that. And then, video game content, which is what Bo gets. The Pokemon games come out. I mean, we're not talking about the Pokemon anime, but we definitely we talking about the Pokemon games that come out, things like that. So it just was something that just ended up sticking. And then, I do the stuff with Skylar, who's my daughter. Me and her have our own little section or whatever where we do things, and pretty much that's just really what it is. We just wanted to talk about like a lot of different nerd content and things like that, and I just was like, hey, let's just might as well do it. So it took us a while. I know me, Bo, and Cam, we set up like a whole year before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, yo, let's do this. And then Bo was like, all right, cool. And then we just didn't talk about it anymore for like almost a whole year. And then we finally released the episode. So
That's so awesome. And one thing I think it's funny, it's like I love when people is just not about anime, because obviously like we have a lot of interests. You know what I mean? Like people are so multidimensional. And it's like, yes, I mean, I love anime. That's pretty much all that I watch. But like I'm also playing Pokemon, and there's like different levels of that too. And I feel like you just, if you have somebody that is into Pokemon games, then they hear episode you talking about anime, they may be inspired to just check out an anime, or in reverse, because they're like, well, Bo likes this and I like that game too, so I could trust his opinion on anime. So I love that. I love that it encompasses everything. How do you guys know each other, like outside of the podcast? Like, have you guys always been friends? Did you guys kind of like interact or like come together because of nerdy stuff? I'm always interested in like people's origin stories.
Let's see. Well, I met Steve through Facebook. Well, because me and Steve graduated at the same school, but believe Steve, I believe he graduated before me or after me. I don't remember. But anyway.
I graduated 06. I think you graduated.
Okay, so 08. Okay, there we go. He graduated 06. I graduated 08. So we met on Facebook. I just friended him because he was cool with everyone that I knew. And basically, Steve saw me. I was posting a lot of funny shit on Facebook. So whenever Steve gets on, he like always comments on laughs at my like anime jokes and like stuff and like gaming and stuff. Like I just post shit on Facebook. I don't really care what it is. So, and then one day Steve was like, calling me like, hey, you want to like do a podcast? I think you're real funny and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like cool. So it was the day we meet. He had Cam come over. That's the first time I mean Cam and Steve for the first time. So I didn't know this, but Steve was like, when he saw me coming it was at Chili's. So Steve was like, when he saw me coming in, he was like, he saw this tall dude coming in, walking into Chili's, and he was like, I hope that is not Bo. And then he's like, and he's like, this tall ass motherfucker.
Bro, Bo is 6'7". Like he walked in and we was like, and Cam looked at me. She said, "Is that him?" And I said, "I think that's Bo." I think that's him. And then I like raised my hand. He was like, "Oh, what's up?" And he walked up and he was like, "What's up, man?" I didn't even want to stand up to shake his hand. I was like, "What's the point?" I was like, "This bar stool is taller than what I would be."
Oh my God. The fact that like Chili's a fun place. Like this mindset. I think everybody in their town, like you have like that one restaurant that people just always was like the meetup spot. So for y'all to be Chili's, that is hilarious. And then also to hope that it wasn't him. Like that's crazy because y'all never like saw each other around school or anything like that, or you just didn't remember. Because I feel like 6'7", you stand out. Like that's
the thing.
Out.
So like when I saw that he went to DeSoto High School in his profile, I was like, I never seen him before. I was like, I've never seen him before. And then but all the time, like we had like a whole bunch of mutual friends. Like whenever I would see like people post a Facebook status, he was underneath it. And then he was still like, the thing about me, I talk about whatever I want to talk about, nerdy content, no matter if this person is cool or whatever, like I don't care. So I'm in the comments and he's like talking about like Megazords and stuff on like comments about like people talking about gangster stuff. He's like, yeah, that's like a Megazord. And I was all like, I like the fact that he just don't care. Like, fuck it. Like, so I was all like, I'm definitely gonna reach out to him. And then with Cam, I've been knowing Cam since kindergarten. So I've been knowing her for almost 27 years. So I've been knowing her forever. Like we kind of knew each other in like elementary school and stuff like that. Obviously, we didn't become like best friends until like later on, like after high school or whatever. But like for the most part, I've been knowing her since like forever. And then it's like 7 other people in the group. We can go down the list, but
I saw that because I don't know. I'm familiar with you two, and I always have like people's socials up when I'm interviewing them, and I'm like, who are all these people? Like, I don't remember all these people.
Yeah, we don't always have everybody on at the same time. We did like 2 episodes where we like ranked like cartoons from the 90s, and that was like chaotic because we were just arguing and fighting. And then the age gap too changed a lot of stuff too, because with me being 33, and then you turn around and then I think Hydro was like 21. So he's talking about shows that we thought was just okay. And he was like, no, I grew up on this. So like ranking them was like, it was real chaotic.
Yeah.
When we posted the list, it went viral. People were like hating on us, like, man, this is a trash list. And I'm like, bro, it's 10 people. We gotta, we had to vote and stuff like that. Like, it's hard.
Yeah. And then people was like, how is Chowder on the bottom of the list? Chowder was lit.
Yeah, Chowder. People was going nuts. How is Chowder at the bottom of the list? I'm like, bro, the 21-year-olds they don't care about Chowder. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. Listen to the episode.
It is always interesting. I think I was telling Steve this when we were like setting up the interview, because I was like, I'm not on social media right now because I get in my feelings and I hate people's opinions and takes and stuff. And even like you try to rank anything, and I don't understand what is it with people's obsessions. Like it's your personal like ranking. Like you could think this trash. I'm not going to like. Why am I going to try to convince you otherwise? Like it has nothing to do with you. But that literally, I was looking at this Instagram. I'm like, who the fuck is all these people? But I think that I like that rotating concept too, like not having everybody on, because with podcasts, it's always hard when you have more than 3 or 4 people, because people's voices start getting together and like mashing up. And then you're like, who the hell's talking right now? This is an audio medium. I don't know who is saying what. Like it really can get chaotic on there. So it started off with you 3, right? You, Cam, Bo. How everybody else get in here? How y'all went from 3 to 10? What happened?
So originally it was me, Cam, Bo, and then my cousin Gary. He's really, really into tech, and he's like really private. And he told me that he didn't want to be on the podcast, but I kind of like was like, all right, press and record now. And like, so he was on like the first like 5 episodes, and then he was like, bro, I don't want to be on the pod. I'm like really private. And I was like, all right. So then it was me, Cam, and Bo, and this guy named Abe, shout out to Abe. He was like, hey, I would edit, you know what I'm saying, your audio, because I know I'm working on a lot of different other projects as well. And he was like, and I could free up some time. He said, if you want to. And I was all like, well, I mean, I can't afford an editor, you know what I'm saying? And then he was all like, I didn't say nothing about money. And he was like, just let me edit it. I'm trying to practice and work on my skills. And I was like, all right, well, bet then. And I was all like, if you're going to edit, you might as well be a part of the crew. So he was like, all right. So he joined. And then we were all working. And then Alpha, this guy from New York, he had a podcast called Nerds and Cool Kids. And I was listening to it, and I was all like, man, this is a really good podcast. I was like, this is dope. And then he went live on Twitch, and he was playing a game, and I was like, yo, I was listening to your pod. I said, when the next episode drop? And he was like, we haven't recorded in like 4 years. And he was like, you've been listening to like really, really old episodes. And I was like, you ever think about like getting back into it? He was like, yeah. And I was all like, you want to be a guest? And then he was a guest. And then as he was the guest, I kind of like was like, yeah, this is Alpha. He's gonna be new to the team. He was like I kind of like be like, yo, like if I kind of like think that we vibing together, I was like, would you like to be new to the team? He was like, yeah, bet. So Alpha ended up joining, and then also Alpha as the one that does our video editing as well. So some of those edits and stuff that you may have seen on our page, that's all Alpha. But then Alpha's podcast mate Double O was on Nerds and Cool Kids, and I was like, tell Double O, come on.
You was like, we just come in.
I was like, just come on. I was like, and then I knew Double O was really good on gaming, whereas when Bo was talking to us about gaming, it was like some of the times we didn't have the variety of gaming content that Bo was talking about. So he was like talking about games that weren't mainstream, and I was like, we can't add anything to the conversation. Well, now we add Double O, and then Abe had a friend named Hydro who was also gaming. So now they got their own segments where it's him, Hydro, Double O. They do their own gaming episodes, things like that. And then Black was our anime connoisseur, and he was really big on it. So we got My Naka Mixer, where me and Black kind of just talk about anime content only. And then Crystal was like our casual nerd that we had. And then but she was like really big in anime. So we was like, we'll add you to My Naka Mixer. So now we got a team of 3 over here. We got a team of 3 over here. And then we come together sometimes and collab. But for the most part, we just do the rotating host thing. Like some episodes I'll host. Anytime it's gaming, Bo hosts. They talk about comics and things like that. Alpha would host. We would do interviews. Abe is the host. Like we just rotate the hosts. So I like that better because I mean, yeah, I did quote unquote come up with Inside the Mind of a Blerd, but I'm not anybody's leader or anything like that. So I'm like, I don't have to be the host every time. It's better if we're going to talk about gaming for Bo to be the host. It just makes more sense. He's more knowledgeable. So I think that works better too, just with rotating hosts, so people can actually get a feel of the other people as well. You know what I'm saying? So they get their fix of it.
I again love that. I think it's always, I think because especially in like large groups, like there's always something for everyone, and I feel like you just play up to people's strengths with knowing, like, you know, who's the video game people, who are the serious people. And I feel like a lot of like group efforts fail because they want everybody to be everything. And it's like, then there's no diversity. People could look at your podcast feed and be like, all right, Bo about to go in talking about Pokemon. Like, this is the episode for me, as opposed to like, there was a podcast I listened to a long time ago that they had like, there was always one main person, but then the other person would switch out. But it's been a while since I listened to it. But that always to me is an interesting concept, because I feel sometimes with like podcasting, everybody wants to be like the one, and it's like, nah, we can all just be here having fun. Like,
Yeah.
So how do you guys, is it by schedule? Like, is it every blank day, you know, every blank week is this topic, or it just kind of like random?
So basically we do come up with ideas of what we want to talk about, but you know, if it depends on what segment it is, like if it's like gaming or comic Among Us or anime, we'll just like try to reach out to everyone to see what their schedule is like, because we don't want to do a segment where everyone's schedule will not like be right to like do a recording, because you know sometimes people can make it through the same day, like how everyone make it. So we have to make sure that we have a specific day where everyone is okay to like go in and then record, and then we just go in and record it. So most of the time, I believe like Malcolm Mixer and Comic Among Us is there Monday or Tuesday, and then the gaming segment could be anytime during the month, because like I said, you just gotta have time, find out which time works best for everyone. So
we pretty much like, we have like a meeting like once every 2 or 3 months, and then we'd be like, what do you want to record? And we write all that stuff down, and then we're like, all right, so this is what we got. Now obviously during this 2-3 month period, like real life stuff will happen, so we'll, you know, pin that when it happens. But for the most part, like everybody just gets together, like everybody has the password to the recording software and stuff like that, so they just jump in there and record whenever they want to, upload it, and that's how we just pretty much do it. Like I just was like, there's no reason, like some of the time I think you guys are going to do a Call of Duty bracket and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't played all of them, so there's no reason for me to be there. I don't have to be there. I was like, y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things. I don't want to sit there and just be like, I don't know anything that's going on every, you know what I'm saying, time. So I feel like it's cool that, you know what I'm saying, you can just get the keys to whoever.
Yeah.
Rotate it.
Yeah. I mean, well, there are times that we do get like everyone in there, like for like specific segment, because I know not everyone, Steve, I know Steve and everyone else isn't like too into gaming, but they do play some games. Like whenever we like have like talk about something like Game of the Year award or something like E3, like that's something that everyone can talk about because everyone has their own game that they look forward to in either E3 or the game that they feel like one best music award, one best action. They all play that game to like come to like participate. So it's not like we'll so there's always something for everyone in gaming. Even though it's not like you don't have to be like a real gamer to like to play a game. You just have to be like you find something we'll talk about. We can all like talk about it. So
and then like with Manga Mixer, which is hosted by Black, he pretty much just seasonal anime. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it weekly, and then at the end we do like a draft. So our draft is pretty much like I'll be like characters with glasses, and then we'll rotate on picking the best characters that wear glasses. You know what I'm saying? And we do something like that. And it's actually really popular on YouTube. Like people love the draft part. We like even cut that into like a small segment and just put that on YouTube, and people love it. So it's just one of them things where we just do stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like there's a lot of freedom and you're not like chained down into like, it gotta be this and we gotta follow this format and this structure. And it's like I love that like free kind of go with the flow a bit. I did want to ask because I always love talking about kind of like the creator side of stuff. What do you guys think, or in this journey with having the podcast, what has been something that do you feel like was the most challenging part, whether it was like a learning curve or just like in total, what is the most challenging part about having a podcast or like this specific type of podcast?
So I would say the most challenging part for me was basically what is working for us now, which is like everybody just kind of just do you. I'm really, really like into like doing a lot of things. Like I'm writing a webtoon. I was editing, and I was still doing the Scholar School Steve thing, and I was trying to show up to all these different, when everybody has a YouTube video or Twitch thing, I was trying to be a part of everything. And then finally, Cam and Alpha really were the ones that said it. They were like, bro, you don't have to stress yourself out and be a part of everything. Like they was like, you was just sitting on the gaming episode just there. It was all like, you don't have to be a part of everything. So the thing that is working for us now is like everybody kind of like had that free range. But for me, it was like kind of like I was like, well, I need to be there to help. I need to do this and I need to do that. And it was like, you don't. And I think that was the most challenging part for me was just, realizing that I got more than capable people that can handle everything like that. So that was really for me.
For me, I would say the challenging part was expressing myself, because there are times that whenever I get a pod, I don't express myself like I used to, because sometimes I just like one of those guys that just stays quiet and just not talk and engage. But as I progress, I feel I kind of understand that I might as well just be myself, because sometimes I like to keep to myself, and whenever I lash out or who I really am, people be like, oh crap, this was you, like oh my god. But but yeah, I'm just being me to be me. So that was one of the challenging things. So opening and I'm just expressing who I am, not trying to hide or be hiding who I am. So that was one challenging part. So wish everyone could tell was just by the amount of episodes were done. So they could tell I've improved a lot. I talk more often, maybe more often than I need to talk, but
in early episodes, Bo would barely speak on the episode. Like if you go back to listen to some of our first ones, you had to be like, all right, Bo, so go ahead. And he would be like, oh, okay. And then he would talk. But then after a while, you could tell he like started to loosen up and stuff like that. I remember one time, I remember the day that it clicked for me, because he was like, you skipped me, Steve. And I was all like, oh. I was like, and ever since then, he was like flying. He was like, oh, my wings are spread.
he's like in that, you know, that moment in the anime where they're like having this internal monologue. He's like, am I gonna say something? Am I gonna say something? No, I gotta say something. If I don't say something, Steve not gonna know that he skipped me.
Yeah, you skipped me. And I was like, oh, my bad.
That was Bo's villain era arc. Like that was the beginning. He was like, what? His glasses did the white thing where you're just like, skip me. No, but I love that. I feel like too, because we're like in this, I can't remember who I was having this conversation with, but like we're in this era where like everybody wants a podcast and everybody like wants to make content, but like not a lot of people are ready to make content or like don't understand the part of it where you have to be talking, you actually have to put in your opinions, you actually have to know like when, especially in like group settings and stuff like that. I think I remember, I think I was having this conversation with GB and Moody because I'm not like a spaces person, and it's for that reason, because I feel like sometimes there's not like, I do very obviously I'm the only person that hosts my podcast because I'm like, it's me, I'm in control, but then it's like when there's a lot of people, it's like opinions and knowing when to jump in, and sometimes like that doesn't always mesh well. Or I feel like we're in this era where there's a lot of podcasts, especially you see this on Twitter, where like people who get together and they just want to talk about relationships, and they always got the worst relationship takes ever, and they always go viral, and it's like, men, should women clean the house? But it's like you see these people that don't know how to communicate and don't know how to talk to each other. They're cutting each other off. They don't have active listening skills. So I love that you brought that up, Bo, because I feel like people underestimate that. Like, yes, we like anime and we like or you know, nerdy things, but it's like there's also that part where what you say matters, but you have to learn how to like contribute it and make sure you don't get skipped because you're a part of the crew too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're out there.
It's like
It's always interesting. I always like love, and I'm always interested when I interview people who are parts of groups, because there's always those dynamics and those learning curves. And as someone who listens to a lot of podcasts, not specifically with your podcast, but I have seen podcasts where from the beginning, since I started listening to listening now, it completely transformed because people find their groove, people find like what works for them versus what doesn't work for them, what kind of role, even if it's not an expressed role, like, am I the comedy person? Am I this person? Am I that person? So the fact that you yourself and Steve, you notice that growth is just like awesome. What would you say in like kind of going off that has been the best part of doing the podcast, whether it's something that you personally like personal growth or just like in general, what has been the best part of this experience with everything?
For me, I like to bring people together. I'm really big on like trying to like get people together and like stuff like that. So when I see that like Crystal and Black are getting along, I'm like, oh, they didn't even know each other, and now they're like getting along. And I just like, I like that, like how everybody like, oh, Bo and Hydro, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting along, and I just like the fact that there was times where we would do episodes and there was that awkwardness because people didn't know each other. And then now it's like we get into a conversation and everybody's like joking and they're just really comfortable with each other. I think that's been the most, so far to me, that's been the most rewarding part of doing this, just because of the fact that there was that awkwardness, because it was like, I don't know him, but Steve, I know Steve, so I guess I'll do the episode. And there was like times where it was like that awkward silence, and I'd be like, all right, transition. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to do that. But now it's everybody's so comfortable with each other. It's like now sometimes I feel like, oh, I need to bring it back. You know what I'm saying? I need to be a little more free flowing and stuff like that.
Yeah. For me, I would say it's just meeting new people rewarding, because before Steve even got me on podcast, I was somewhat antisocial. I didn't get too much on Twitter or Facebook. Like I said, the reason I got on Facebook just to like post random shit and like comment on shit, to just be commenting. So, but yeah, I would say the most rewarding part is about getting on. Like I'm more sociable. I interact with people on Twitter. Like I didn't have people to like talk to about the shit I watch. Like, I mean, sure, I have like friends out, but they don't like, they're the kind of friends that you'd be like, oh, did you watch this? Like, oh yeah, that was great. You see that superpower move? Yeah, that was super, man. I was so excited. But I didn't have that kind of people to like talk to. But now that I have like people like Steve, Cam, Black, Crystal, Alpha to talk to about this, I would say that it makes my life more interesting and more willing to like watch more anime, watch more shows, be more interactive with people. Like I interact with people who like have the same interests as me. Like, I'm like, oh, like I like the parts. I like that's the most rewarding part for me. So meeting people who have the same interests as you, so that you don't feel awkward when you mention this to some random people. It'd be like, yeah, it was that's great, and then you don't know what they're talking about. So, but yeah.
It is like finding your little community and being like, this is who I could talk to about this. I think I had previously, like I also really didn't have a lot of, like I had like one real life friend and my husband that like talk about anime, and we just talk about anime differently. Like we not like, so this power up move, we're like, yo, that shit was crazy. And it's like you need your community with people who talk like you, have the same mannerisms as you, and like see and enjoy the show the same ways that you do. And I think I love that you bring that up, Bo, because that's kind of like been my experience with like finding like Black anime Twitter and POC anime Twitter, and then like just interacting with like us, like all the podcasts and stuff like that. Because you get on Zoom, it's like we've never met and we have mad fun because we just know, like we just vibe, we feel the same way. Even if we don't have the same opinions, we can discuss it in a similar way. And that always just makes stuff better. I feel like sometimes, depending on the person, because some people I know grew up and they had like weeb friends, but like I never had weeb friends. Like until I got to college, I didn't really meet anybody that like talked or was like liked anime and was also like me as a person. Because I went to high school and I went to the anime club, and it was the people, no shade to them people, but it was like the stereotypical high school weebs. And I was like, I don't look like this. I don't talk like this. Like, this is not like, what is this? But now I'm like, oh, we grown. We got money to fund our addictions. And we can buy stuff and we could live in it. So that is always, I love when podcasting and stuff like this just brings people and you're just like, yes, like, this is always the positive.
Like I mentioned in the intro, this is now the portion where I have no segue. We pick up where Steve, me, and Bo are talking about The Promised Neverland and what happened with the anime adaptation of season 2.
I just read The Promised Neverland after watching it.
Season 2 doesn't exist.
Season that manga is good. Like, I'm really disappointed at how bad they did that second season. Like,
I feel bad for y'all. I didn't watch it with the show. I don't think I will. But like, that's kind of like when I started kind of being active on any Twitter, bro. The day people like that, because I feel like it was one episode in that season that's when people were like, "What the fuck is going?" Like, I remember people on Twitter were like, "So y'all just not gonna follow the manga?" Like, it was like that day. I was like, thoughts and prayers to the Neverland community because y'all suffer.
I know what episode it is too, because
it's like early on in that season, right? Yeah. Like I feel like it was pretty on.
After they meet our Blood Queen or whatever, the evil Blood Queen, and I can't remember his name, Ajoji, something like that.
I don't know these people.
Oh, you never read it?
No, I never read it or watched it. I just know from like being on Twitter that it was like a huge deal. Like, because it was like the day the episode came out, or like whenever it was there, my Twitter was blowing up. People was upset.
So, this is not a spoiler, but they end up getting to like a private room. And when they get to the private room in the manga, someone is sitting there waiting for them. Like, hey, how you doing? You found me. In the anime, they get to the room and no one's there. And I'm pretty sure that's when everybody was like, oh no, because that character was like significant in the manga, like super significant. And yeah, if I was you, You know about Promise Neverland a little bit, right?
I don't fuck with kids. Like I say that as I've like been invested in Attack on Titan and like My Hero Academia and shit like that. But I like know a lot about Promise Neverland, and it just doesn't seem like it's for me. And I'm just like, I feel like I have very different tastes because you know what? A lot of people kept telling me to watch. Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh,
I can't get into it. I tried, y'all. I was watching the first 2 episodes. It was making me sick.
Well, that's why you don't need to watch it because I stopped at season 2 because I was like, I was just fed about season 2 because everyone says season 3 wasn't even that great. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I ain't missing much.
Yeah, season 3 was really bad.
That's what everybody says. But I was like, let me try it because I feel like the elements are there of what I would like. But then, and I'm not like somebody that's like too against gory stuff, but I don't know, maybe it's where I'm currently at in my life. It was making me sick. I was like literally about to throw up. I'm like, what is this? Like,
oh yeah, it was too much gore.
So then, did you like Parasite?
I haven't watched that yet, and I have mad people telling me like that's up my alley.
Well, I'm just saying, if Tokyo Ghoul made you a little bit,
it's not so much because like I've seen gorier stuff. Like I don't think like Tokyo Ghoul is that bad gore wise, but there's just something about it. Like it just is extreme to me. Like I was like, this is not like, and then the way that it was, mind you, I think I've only seen the first 3 or 4 episodes. Nothing about it was like drawing me in. I was sad for the main character, and then I was like, yeah, this ain't like I just couldn't connect to it. But Parasite, that's one that I will check out because I saw the trailer and I was like, this look weird because I'm weird with shit. Like I don't really like scary shit, but like I love JJK and like my anime tastes are just so all over the place. I'll try it though. I say I always will at least try something once. I'll give it like 5 or 6 episodes to see if I vibe with it. But Tokyo Ghoul, maybe because I had a lot of different expectations, like that could be it too. Because that's what happens is like sometimes like you get these expectations and then you watch it and you're just kind of like, so what's happening? What? So, what am I supposed to be getting out of this?
With Promise Neverland, just watch episode 1. And when you watch the first episode, I think you should just read it from there. And if that catches you, if the first episode catches you, then just read it. Because there's no reason to watch the first season and then hope that the second season is going to be good. Because the first season is like play by play of the manga, and then the second season was like we're doing whatever we want to.
That always like is such, and I get it because there's obviously like a lot of reasons they end up doing stuff like that, but it's just like if y'all gonna do that, then don't give it the same name as the manga. Like be like Promise Neverland some shit that people identify that is not gonna be canon because y'all just making shit up.
Yeah, it was rough. I'll say that. It was rough.
You just be staring at them like really like y'all did this. Like I think, but that's why I said watching the anime first, because then like you feel like when you then discover the manga, you're like you have some, I feel like for me, I have so much more appreciation of the manga and the original work. And you're like a little bit sad, but you're like, now I have like the complete story and I love it even more based on the manga.
Yeah, I think that would have definitely changed my opinion without knowing that things were different. Did you watch last year? Did you watch Odd Taxi? Were you an Odd Taxi fan?
No, but that's something again that people telling me that I would like. Like it's just kind of like weird and vibey. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. Mystery, slice of life-ish. It's really good.
I like that slice of life element. I think that's like my biggest. I'm just looking it up right now. That's like my biggest genre is slice of life, and then like other stuff just falls underneath that. Okay, yeah, this is the one with animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That main character, he kind of ugly, but whatever.
That's what I said.
Yeah, like it's weird because like everybody always says they're like some people are just not into like animals at all, so they won't give it a try. And I'm like, I think you should watch it because then it'll make more sense. The last episode comes full circle, and it's a big old reveal. And then when that happens, it's like, oh, okay. So I think it should, everybody should watch. I kind of promote Odd Taxi and Scissor Seven. Those are two like anime that I super promote. Like all over the timeline, you'll see people tag me and be like, "We got another one," and it's Odd Taxi.
I love that. Bo, what are your animes that you promote? What's your agenda anime?
My agenda anime is most likely Aggressico. I'll say no one has watched Aggressico yet. I will jump on the antenna to watch Aggressico. Watch Aggressico or Konosuba. Those are my two anime that I promote. And then since the creators of Konosuba made another anime, it's called Cobantus Will Be Dispatched. It's basically the same creator. That's a very good anime. I recommend you watch it. Basically, it's the same style, the same comedy. It's all fun. It's all fun. If you watch Konosuba, then you expect the same thing from Combatants Will Be Dispatched. Like those are animes I promote, especially Aggressico. I'm like, if you don't watch Aggressico, you're missing in life. Okay, I don't know what to tell you.
I haven't caught up on Agretsuko. Like I saw the first season and I really liked it because like I don't know, as I'm older, like I like grown people doing grown shit. Like I love that dynamic. For me, my agenda, like I'm pushing these, like block me because I'm not shutting up about them. I always recommend Wotakoi Love is Hard for Otaku for people. That is on Amazon Prime and it is about this girl who's an otaku, but she like starts at a new company and she like hides it. And then she meets this childhood friend, but he's open about it. Like he'd be at work on his Switch playing games. So he's like a video game otaku, and then she's an anime otaku. And then they meet two coworkers that are in a relationship. The one girl's a cosplayer, and the other guy, he's into shoujo and magical girl, but on the low, but like that's like his jam. And it's just so funny because they're all like in their 20s. So you're watching that anime and it's like watching you and your friends. And they'll have moments like they go to conventions, they'll be at the manga store, they'll be having like arguments on different characters. They play certain MMO games. They all log in at the same time together and they're playing. They have nights where they're playing like the Wii together. So I love that. Like I feel like, and it's only 11 episodes. So I feel like if you're an adult, it's always funny because there's jokes that you're going to get because you're in that situation. And I love like a workplace anime. And then my other one that is my most recent agenda is Run with the Wind. Like everybody like Run with the Wind Hive. Yes. The track one just completely changed my life. Like saw it, cried my eyes out. I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. Like, you know, sometimes the anime just gets in your head and you just be like, but that one scene though, you just be chilling, just driving, having flashbacks. Like, damn, that the one thing I think Run with the Wind just, I heard it was good. And usually when people say shit is good, I take it with a grain of salt because I have such a different opinion from people that I'm like, I don't always want to be like, you know, you form your own things. People have different likes. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But then when I saw it, like I understood. It's kind of like if you've never seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and then you watch it and you're like, oh, now I know why people, this is like the #1 rated anime ever. Like I felt like that's how I felt with Run with the Wind. Like it just clicked so much, especially the people that I saw it that I know. And I'm like, you knew you was looking out for me. You knew I was going to love this. Like I have a good opinion of you if you've seen that anime. Like, I think, like, that's fucked up. But I do think, like, I do judge you if you've seen some shit and I'm like, yes.
There's like a few other ones like that recently I was like, oh, you need to watch this. Like, kind of like when I figure out people's style, I'm like, okay, you're not big into shonen and action. Okay, you should watch like Keep Your Hands Off Azoken or Welcome to the Ballroom, which is a good one. Those are like whenever I hear people like saying they like slice of life or something different, those are the ones I kind of like push towards them. I'm like, Taxi, Welcome to the Ballroom, Keep Your Hands Off Azoken. And then obviously I'm big on One Piece and Gintama and stuff like that, but I know that they're longer and people don't really want to watch longer anime. So I don't really too much recommend pretty much. Like I'm really big on One Piece, but at the same time, it's like I know how long it is. I know how long Gintama is. I know Hunter x Hunter is not completed. So it's like there's no reason for me to push that on people just to get the pushback back. So I don't even try.
One of my friends, shout out to, is it Toby or is it Toyin? They're twins. They're the hosts of Religiously Nerdy. One of them been pushing that. We have a Discord. Yeah, I'm gonna send y'all the Discord link. Y'all should join because it's for like creatives and stuff like that. But she been pushing the Gintama agenda, and I was like, let me look at it, bro. There's a million episodes. When you gotta have a video that is like ranking the OPs, and there's 300 OPs, that's long.
Gintama is hilarious though. It's
hilarious,
yeah. Like I think one of the news reporter, her name is Maya Sinichi or something like that. But when they say it, they run it together. So her name is like My Ass is Itchy.
Oh no.
And like every time like she comes on screen, they're like, all right, my ass is itchy here. And then like they actually show her. So it seems like, and they'll do like a scene where they're actually like kind of like seem like they're about to reference their butts itching or something like that. But they're actually talking about her popping up. So it's really funny how they do it, the transition of it.
Listen, I don't know. It's like you said, like sometimes shit is so long, and I also have anxiety. So that's why I love Slice of Life too. Just give me 12 fucking episodes, bitch. Wrap it up. Let me know, because I cannot, like 24 sometimes be pushing it for me. Like I'll be like I can handle if it's a couple seasons, but then each season is like 12 episodes. Like that I'm okay with, because like when last year because I had seen Attack on Titan like when it first came out, and then mad years passed before season 2 came out, so I forgot about it. And then last year I binged season 1 through 3 to catch up to now, and I was like, that was digestible, because it was like they started doing that thing where they broke up the seasons into 2 parts, and each part was like 10-12 episodes. I'm like, this is what my ass needs. Also, Attack on Titan just be ruining your life. So they were like, we're going to get some lawsuits if we giving people 20 episodes back to back to back. Like, they're going to be like, I remember I had this interview at the time with Blaname with Mike and Sine. And they were like, Mike was like, was it Mike? I think it was Sine. Sine was like, girl, no wonder you like dying right now. She's like, we all had like weeks in between each episode. Like, she's like, you're literally watching it back to, she's like, it's not meant to do this to you. Like, your heart is gonna burst out your chest. And I was like, this makes sense, because I'm a mess. Like, I'm distraught. But listen, it is, well, this has been so much fun, guys. Obviously, we can talk about anime all fucking day. That's not a problem.